Yeah, I keep saying children, doesn't matter, because I've been, throughout every day, every single day, I'm engaged with kids.
Looks like a broken brain kind of plastered together.
Very good, getting closer, right? I think once you came to the last image, oh, shit. And some of you got this wow feeling, okay, I did this.
Firstly, let me introduce Nethu very briefly. Nethu Wickramasinghe, from the little that I know about your life, professionally, I know you study reptiles as well, but do tell us more about your professional work. I remember hearing a wonderful presentation you gave about blind snakes in Sri Lanka. I think it was at ATBC.
That was ATBC, yes.
And and then some of you may recall her two sons gave a fantastic presentation last year on reptiles, and they're educated by their mother, who is trained in education and is professionally trained in schooling children in a way that is different and unique and more engaging than your traditional going to school from 7 to 12 or 1 and sitting in a classroom, but getting them outside and seeing stuff firsthand and interacting firsthand, which is fantastic. And I think it's a fantastic model that we should can learn from and also use and utilize and implement in our own youth wing programs. So thank you very much for joining us and for giving us this training and helping us do better in the work we are doing already. And I want to just let everyone know as well that this session is being recorded and that Nethu will be using this for a clip that she will be putting out later. So I just want the committee to be aware that it's getting recorded as well.
So thanks, Zainab. Thanks for that wonderful introduction. I think that's enough. Yeah. No need to go about saying who I am. Let's see. I'd like to give the whole training a start, if you don't mind. Yeah, that'll be fine, right? Yeah. Okay. So to begin with, there are a few more videos to be switched on. Would you mind, children? The others also. Yeah, I keep saying children. Doesn't matter, because I've been throughout every day, every single day, I'm engaged with kids. So yeah, you're perfectly free to question me anytime, right? Stop me if you feel you should. So it's going to be an interactive session, all right? We'll be doing a few activities, and we will be at the end of this session. We'll be doing an activity. You will be grouped, right? And we'll see how things go. There'll be a group activity, and before which we'll be all engaged in an activity beforehand. All right. So beginning with, you see an image here, yeah? All of you, yes? I'd like to ask you what you're free to express yourselves, what you see, and what do you think? Can you give a titling shot to this image?
The human brain.
Yeah, very good. Wonderful. Some more, I'd like to hear the others also.
Looks like a broken brain kind of plastered together.
Precisely. How about the others?
Different parts of the... Sorry.
There was Zainami and Mustafa, I think both of you. Y'all can take turns. Mustafa first, please.
Yeah, different parts of the brain.
Okay.
I was going to say it shows how people are interconnected, kind of.
Oh, okay. Very good. Getting closer. You're nearly there. Somebody else? Yeah.
Is it something like the disjointed way that people learn? People learn in different ways, and the puzzle.
So this is where I'm going to start. Learning is a process, right? So it doesn't have to be self-learning in itself. When you're self-learning, it will be one person, but apart from which majority of our learning processes, we need to have two entities, right? And if you see these brains, this is a blue one on the left hand and the red one on the right hand, right? So parts have been intermingled, yeah? So once you share your thoughts, your ideas, we tend to, exchange, interact, right? And then your brains start changing models. So that's the process of learning. Okay? So we've got to understand that when we are now in this example, for example, I'm here, you're there. It doesn't mean I have more and you have less. We have different skills, right? Different ways. Right now, I'm trying to engage you all and give some perspectives of what you already know, maybe in a different angle, a little bit more, right? So that you will do good in one activity that you all are engaged in, the youth, WNPS youth group, trying to reach young children, if I'm right, in your activities. So that's so at the end of this process, right, of learning today, of what in this small time, I hope that you all will be able to, at the end of which you all will be better in disseminating whatever you all did so far, thus far, and will be better in engaging children, especially in this virtual learning setting online, yes, right? So before we begin, so I'm going to exit this, let's play a game first, all right? So I hope all of you have your thread, your rope, your lace, whatever, and a pencil. So now the first step is, I will be reading a few sentences, right? Only reading, you will see me if you want to, So you will see me, I will be reading a text, just once, right? Try to understand it and then do what it says, you're not allowed to cross-question me, stop me, or pause me, right? I will be reading it, I will be taking it slow, right? Let's see how it goes, okay? And at the end of the activity, you will be doing something with a rope and your stick, right? Whatever product you have is the final, and that's right. Don't worry if it's right or wrong. There's no right or wrong answer here, okay? If you have phones with you, just take a quick picture of what you did, right? Of the final product that you get, okay? Right? Are we ready to go? Yes? Start. Okay, so I will be reading now. Make an overhand loop at any convenient point in the line. Add an overhand loop further along the line so that the pair consists of two opposing halves. Arrange the two loops so that they are the same size and close together. Rotate the two loops a little in opposite directions in order to overlap them. Insert the stick or the pencil through both loops to tighten the resulting hitch. Doesn't matter. I'm going to stop. Right? Doesn't matter. Can you just take a photo of whatever you did? That's perfectly fine. So we all took 1 minute and 16 seconds. Yes, right? To do that. Okay? Right. Did everyone take pictures? And then I want to...
Not yet. Still trying to get into the pencil.
Okay. Sorry. So our first step, took 1 minute and 20 seconds, I suppose, right? Okay. So we're going to do the same thing more or less, but this time I'm going to give you a little bit more, right? So you will see letters, right, in front of you. I will stop at the end of 1 minute and 19 seconds. All right? Okay. So Ruan, yes.
We remove the cord again?
Yeah, you have to remove it. Sorry, unless you have another cord. I know you will need at least 10. So that's impossible. So let's remove the cord. That's why I said for you all to take a picture of what you did earlier, previously. All right. We're going to start now. 1, 2, 3. Okay, shall we stop? Doesn't matter. Whatever you did is fine, right? Can you take a pic of that as well? Right. So we move on to our third step. Yes, where you will see text again in front of you, but in a different format. Okay, text in a different format. Right. So we are going to start stopping at 1 at the end of 1 and 30 seconds. Right. So 1, 2, 3. Sorry, you all saw this. No? Done. Okay. So it doesn't matter. You may have a different format of things to what you already did. So it doesn't fine. You may have 3 different products at the end. So this is basically a clove hitch. Kospatta gate kiyala kiyanne in Sinhala, right? So, but the form of instructions have been different, right? In these 3 ways. Now we're going to move on to the next, right? Here again, you will be given 1 minute and roughly 30 seconds, right? Starting. We don't have, I mean, my sole objective is you don't have to have a correct answer. You don't have to have the not done. Doesn't matter, right? I just want you all to see the different ways of modes of instructions, right? And how our brain works, right? Okay, so we'll be sorry, I forgot. We are starting now. I hope you have undone. Yes? Did you undo? I'm sorry. Undo your knots?
Yeah.
Yes? Okay, right. Okay, we're moving on then. 1, 2, 3. So 10 seconds to go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm sure some of you have done it. Yeah, Zainab is confident. Yeah? Final, yeah, whatever you got at the end. Yes. And once you take the image, undo. Done. Can you move on to the last and the final? Yes. And of knotting, we are going to come to an end to this whole process, right? Okay. I hope we are able to go. Right. So it's going to be a video, right? No words there. Watch it carefully. Right? So we're going to start. Great. 1, 2, 3.
Do we stop and take a picture?
Yeah. Yes.
You
Want to do the? I want you all to. I didn't start on that. Was shall we do this? Yes. Or anyway, were you able to achieve it?
I did the first one.
Okay, then take a photo. Yes, please.
Okay.
For those who haven't, I'm sure most of you are trying this. Second, yeah, right. So we're going to start. I can because this is the last version. I will stop and we'll do it right if we haven't. Yeah, because I want you all to be happy at the end of this whole process and rather not complain. Yes. Okay. We start. Yeah, do you want me to replay that? One. Okay. So I'd like to ask you what happened to all of your pictures, notes, whatever. Right? Shall we take a small feedback? Of what we did. So what did you understand throughout the process? We had 5 steps, 5 different ways of doing the same thing, more or less. Did you figure that out? It was the same thing. Yeah, it wasn't 5 different things. Yeah, yes. So could you tell me, which ones, how far you achieved, each one of you? Because we have just 10 of us here. Yes.
I just realized how bad I am with knots. Basically, I have a straight line still.
I think for me, what worked best was both the visual and the instructional together, because anyway for me I prefer having instructions to read rather than to just having pictures. So either when it's written, very detailed instructions are written, but still if you're doing something you don't know at all, it's always easier to follow somebody. And I think following the video was probably when I got the best knot.
Right. Did anyone get it the first way? First way? Nothing at all, just me reading? Did anyone get it?
I think mine would have come had I tightened it more.
Okay. Right.
Yeah.
So you mean to say when I was just reading it the first way, right?
Yeah, the first way. I think I didn't tighten it enough, but had I tightened it, it would probably have looked like this.
Okay, so you mean to say you did the same thing, you realized that it was the same thing in the 5 ways, and then you got the knots all throughout, but in different forms maybe, yeah?
No. In the middle, when I had to follow the picture, I didn't get the knot.
Okay, right. How about the others?
This was my first one. I was completely lost on the first 2, but then I got the hang of it after.
Okay, right. So that's great. And the others?
For me, the first video helped.
Let's go ahead, whoever was speaking.
No, I was saying the video helped. Until that, I really didn't get it right.
Yeah.
This was my second one.
Okay. You couldn't come, okay, to end it, the whole process. Yeah, it was too fast maybe, yes? Okay.
Yeah.
Yulanga, Kidney?
Mine was actually similar to Ashin's. I think the first one, if I tightened it, it would have actually ended up the right way. And then in the middle, I completely lost the plot. And it's in the video that I really got the knot right.
Same.
Okay, Zainab, how did it go with you? Wonderful.
I think the video is where I got the hang of it and knew how to had a better idea in terms of what to do. Also, the pictures helped because then I got a visual idea in terms of exactly what this loop had to look like. Otherwise, I was just going with the figure of 8 and not turning it around correctly.
So have you ever done the Kosipatta Gete before? You in school? Learned as Girl Guides or yeah?
I've done it a couple of times as a little friend, but still I couldn't understand when I think the first 2 steps, since it was just like instructions, but then when I saw Clove Hitch, I realized it was this, so I work better with visuals, I feel like.
So she will be here for a while. Yeah, right. So that was, we were doing the same operation in 5 different ways, and I'm happy you all were able to get a hang of it. Okay, so we are moving on to the second one. Again, a little bit of this and ropey thing, but you're well aware of what you're doing, yes? Right? So this is a different type of a knot that we'll be trying now. Okay? Let's see how it goes with the previous experience. Now we are backed up and we know how to do it, right? So the fastest will win this time, all right? You're rewarded, okay? Okay, here we go. Are we all ready? One, 2, 3. Take the ends of the lace in each hand, then cross the lace in your left hand over the one in your right hand. Where the lace meet in the center, wrap the right lace over the left lace to form a sort of loose knot. Pull both laces to complete the knot. Make a loop with the right lace and hold it together with your thumb and index finger. Repeat with the left side. Am I too fast?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
They should now look like little rabbit ears. Cross the loop in your left hand behind the one in your right hand. This should leave a hole between the loops and the knot made at the beginning. Pull the left loop through the hole. Gently pull the two loops together to tighten the laces. Yeah. So my reading, you came up with something? Yeah? I'm going to stop now. Can we take a photo of that? Whatever you have. Ashinsha is still trying mentally.
Yes.
Right. Okay. I think the done. Yes. Zaid, yes, you're done. So we're moving on to the next step, right? So you roughly took I roughly took 1 minute and 40 seconds to read, right? So
Yes.
you'll be seeing text. Huh?
Stop.
Okay, done. Right. We're done? Yes. Yeah. Was it different to what you got previously? Yes. Right. Okay, we're going to do the third. You will see a figure now. Okay, right? I think once you came to the last image, oh shit, this is this. I know somebody of, yeah, some of you would have, yeah. Okay, so the last. Anyone undo? You are not? Yes. Then right, so I'm going to stop from here. Okay, so the idea is how many of us have really done this? I mean, from day 5, has anyone had a problem? I mean, ever doing it before? I mean, we've all tied shoelaces before, yeah? Yes. So this is something that we've
I don't think I tie my shoelaces right.
thousands and thousands
This is
of
not how I
times
tie my
every
shoelaces.
single day.
I think I've been doing
Yeah,
it wrong all these
but
years.
how many of us were able to achieve it the first time? Me reading it. Yeah, it sounded awkward, yeah? And to me, even the video, looking at the video was no way. Yes? And the figures explained it, yeah? So if you try to follow, yeah, from 1, 2, 3, 4, yes, some of you did it that way. I saw, yeah, your eyes following all 3 and, yeah, patiently doing all steps. While some of you went right to the end and figured out, voila, it's this. Why follow all that? I'll do it my own way. Yes, right? So this is the second one that we did was from a known everyday activity that we've been doing throughout, yet the modes of explanation, the ways that was the instructions were totally different. Yes, right? So what did you grasp from both the activities? What did you feel? Yeah, how the idea was to give you an idea of how your brain works. Yes, so what you receive something processes here, and then something comes out. Right? Simply looking at it as if you look at it in a machine's perspective. Yes. So the inputs were different, the programs were different. Yes. So the way it processes here too will be different, and what you produce at the end of the day is also going to be different. Yes. not only in this activity alone, we have 10 of us here doing it, receiving the same instructions, but do you think all of us do it the same way? No, all 10 of us did it in 10 different ways. Okay, so the modes of instructions were different. Just imagine how diverse we are, right? So in the very first slide you saw, there were two people, okay, just two there, right? So what you give the other person and what you take, and at the end of the day, what it processes and produces are eternally different, and it's diverse, and it's just like the biodiversity, right? We humans, if we look into each individual, each of us, we are different. So in a process of learning, right, in that whole process, we've got to understand that there's huge diversity, and you have to give space to that diversity, right? The first and foremost problem that we have in Sri Lanka's education system is we do not understand this core, the most important fact that we are different, right? The way we process in here, each one of us is different. We are meant to be different people, not identicals. Yeah. So that creativity loss, yeah, at the end of the whole process, we lose huge amount of creativity, unbelievable amounts that end up, yeah, making us sick. Most of us right now with this virtual process and online processes with children, right, the way they are doing it. So it's giving us unimaginable amount of stress building in here, right? We're doing it every single thing wrong. Just imagine how much physically we can, yeah, if we fall ill, fever, we can measure. Yes, we have 101 temperature there. Yes, and other things, if you have a cold, yeah, you have a runny nose, you grab onto a handkerchief. But what happens here, not everyone can monitor, not everyone will know, not us, not even us, right? So that's the scary bit. And the other part is, if you fall ill, yes, you can get medicine and then heal ourselves maybe, yes. But the responsibility, yeah, okay, how did I get a cold? Yeah, somebody, we can say, okay, fine, I went there and then, yes, I got it from there and then, yes, you know where it came from. But this particular default processing, whatever happens in here, no one will know how it happened. Nobody, there's no responsible entity. Yeah, that's the scariest, right? So, number one, we've got to understand that we have to have a healthy environment. Yeah, make a healthy environment for children. Yes. Now, ideally, children are the we say children for people, right, or individuals from the day they were born up until 18. For legal processes, we say adulthood. Yes, for adults. For those above 18, right, is the norm. So we, coming back to where we were, to the very first slide, conclusion is that we are all diverse. We are not the same, right? Things processing are going to be different, right? Now, this I said, if it's the learning process, right? Psychologically, we tend to divide the learning process, right, into two main segments. Andragogy, have you heard about that term before? If you have, can I know what that is? And pedagogy. That's what we are going to be concentrating today, right? Andragogy is part of what I'm doing right now. It's dealing with adults, learning in adults, all right? And pedagogy strictly speaks for the teaching and the learning that happens for children, right? So these are two different aspects, right? Mainly because children are not adults, right? They develop in very different stages, okay? And if you look at their brains, okay, the top figure gives you the connection, the networking, right? And at the bottom, the real neurons, okay? Look at how they are. What differences do you see in the brain as you grow up? What do you see? I mean,
I think everyone was saying that as you get older, you start learning more, and you start more than anything making connections between things and learning upon what you have learned over time.
So physically speaking, right, based on studies that has been done thus far, what happens is learning goes on throughout the day, I mean the entire lifespan, and until the day we die. So until the day we die, amount of neurons at a certain point, we will not have new neurons building up in our head, but instead there will be more and more connections within the neurons, that sparks, one and each other, that ignites that. So based on research done on Einstein's head, right? So his and other people's neurons studies done in the brain suggests that the more number of connections and more complicated your head over here is going to be, right? That all depends on experiences that you had, just the way that you all have defined, the way you told, yes? But it will take time, yeah? Now look at birth, you will have a certain number of neurons, and eventually as you grow on, yes, with experiences you will start building, networking. And as you move along, there's much more complex brain networking happening, yes? But what you've got to remember is, because the connectivity is very much less at younger ages, yes, the way they grasp what you say is also going to be different, right? So you cannot go on to explain concepts, right, in ways that you do it for adults, higher ages, yes, because their structure over here is different. So educators, right, in most parts of if you see other channels, right, in TV, right, you see most of these kids educational channels, right, having very educative, I'm not talking about Sri Lankan channels, I'm talking about international ones, right? You see certain strategies that they have used, right? Now these are educational channels that I'm talking about, and have you seen what, like for example, when I was small, there was this program called Sesame Street. It's still there, right? Sesame Street is still there, right? So what is happening in that program? I'm taking it out because I've learned from that myself, and yeah, I'm sure most of you have, and your kids in the future will also. I'm aware of your age groups, right? Okay, so
yeah, you've got a lot of characters, and they use those characters to introduce concepts to children.
Yeah. So they do the same thing. I mean, the A's and the B's and the C's and the D's, yeah? Just like in a preschool, but in a different format. Which way would you think would be better?
The Sesame Street way, because that's more engaging for children.
Yeah, so that's called edutainment, right? Education in an entertaining way. There's nothing wrong in it. We are giving the same concept, yeah? Same things in a different way, where you grasp better. Yeah. So is it bad? Tell me. Is it harmful? Tell me. No. You're doing it much easily, much conveniently. And the reason for that, right? So elsewhere in the world, right, they understand that education does not have to happen in a very, in a stressful manner. It has to happen with joy. Yeah, children must start liking it. Do we, as adults, will we ever undergo a process that we hate doing? Trauma, if you know that that's traumatic, would we ever think of making? The only difference with an adult and a child is the adult gets a chance to make a choice for yourselves, right? A child doesn't. It's been pushed by adults, governed by adults. People are made, decisions are made by an outer party. But an adult, with the adulthood, we make a choice. When we have the chance of making a choice, will we ever go through a process that is agonizing? That's my question. No, it doesn't happen in the first place, right? So the idea of learning, it's entertaining. It has to be entertaining, and children wouldn't think twice. Even the worst concepts, most toughest, right? They will learn with joy, less stress. Okay, so in that process of learning through passion and love, what happens is your cognition, this brain, love starts loving, doing what you're doing, and it eventually changes your whole being. You begin to gain attitudinal changes to whatever you're doing. Yes, to do that, you've got to do it with love, not with you will never change yourself, isn't it? So why I'm coming to that is WNPS, right? All are strictly nature conservationists. You want to do something, to conserve nature, right? So you have absolutely, I was talking with some others also. Now when it comes to schools, if you take a science, right, just because you are a science teacher doesn't mean you know everything. It doesn't mean anybody. Make it myself, I hardly know what I'm doing at sometimes. Yes, we will think at the end of the day. But if you take a science teacher in a typical school in Sri Lanka, the amount of knowledge that they will have on topics related to nature, right, are not going to be pleasant, right? I'm sure most of you know it already, right? But against that, most of you, right, because we are passionate about nature, so we say, even there's this theory called multiple intelligences. If you do have time, just scan through later, right, by Howard Gardner, right? He did the theory close to now 40 years ago. He's still alive, and he just do TED Talks. There's this lovely TED Talk that he did some time ago. He's very old now, just like David Attenborough. If you do have the time, just go listen to his theories, right? So now, after 40 years, he wants to see good people, right? To build up this goodness concept. What exactly is good, right? Being ethical, being responsible people with your emotions, this emotional intelligence and all that, right? We want good people. Okay, we do not want people with high intelligence being not good, right? Goodness, right? So we have to nurture this good in ourselves, right? So Howard Gardner, and based on his theory, I figure out this group that we are talking about are heavily naturalistic. Naturalistic means we love nature. Our intelligences are highly, spectrum there is at a high level. So compared to other intelligences, so there are numbers, there are other interpersonal, intrapersonal intelligences that we have. Based on all that, we as a group, right, we love nature, right? That's why we are here. We've made the choice. You've come to WNPS to be a selected group. So being a group who are highly enthusiastic in nature, you all are better educators in nature compared to an average science teacher in school. Yes, that's because of your passion and self-driving force that you have. Yes, so you have that first component. I will move on quickly again in another few steps, taking the same naughty example that we took, because it's easy to explain now because we have previous experiences. So you guys, right, are the best, right, to people having this knowledge component based, this is strictly speaking, to nature, All right. So in our experience that we did in the naughty part, right, I brought up the knots, right? Not that I know all these knots, I know just a very few, but that I've been practicing it for the past 20 years, thanks to the curtains that we have at home, right? Which are, I used ropes, right? So all the time I have to use a hook, right? So I use the kospatta, that's the part that, you know, tightens, and there's a much more easier way that I didn't want to teach, right? You just have to do it just twice like that. This is my way, third methodology, and put something through and pull it is very easy, right? So you guys, on the other hand, have this knowledge component, right? When you're disseminating, when you're going to go to a school, you're the ones that have a better idea of nature. And some of you got this wow feeling, okay, I did this. Yeah, I did the knot finally, yeah? Not getting mad at me for doing all that. And some of you were, came to a point at this, in this audience itself, in this, not going home, but then you got that wow feeling. What does that mean? Your brain understood the instructions, in whatever format, you understood. Just like in a school, right? You teach 1 and 1 is 2, summing up, yes? And you get this wow feeling, oh, I can do it in school, right? So that we say your brain goes to the next level of comprehension, right? Knowledge given has been comprehended by the receiving end, yes, right? Just because you comprehend, right? That's again, if you look at your brain, it's just at a very basic level there, right? So in schools, they stop from there. Exams make you rote learn, whether, during that process of learning in a school with the interaction between the teacher and a child, you teach something, a child will understand, most of them will understand, and some may not, maybe never. So your brain moves to the second level of comprehension, right? Knowledge, and then you comprehend, right? And if you do start liking it, okay, you go and apply it, just like how I did it. I started using it every day, right? To attach my curtains, right, in the hook. So you go on doing it, because so that's the application part. You understood the knot and you're doing it. So similarly, in your case, right, you will disseminate something, make kids understand, wow, I understood that, make them do it, right? Okay, even then, it's just application. You're simply doing the same knot over and over again. Kospatta gate mai, nothing else, right? Kospatta gate dada innokota, right? You come to a point, what if I use this in different strategies? Yes, I like what I do. You begin to analyze. Do other people do it differently? This kospatta gate, you're not going beyond anything, just the kospatta gate, right? And then, yes, so if you do it this way, I could make a curtain myself, right? In your case, when you're disseminating, you tend to teach children the application, maybe garbage cleaning or whatever, But if you tend to teach them to, look into practical situations, how I can do it in school, does the other people do it, get the child liking it, that means your brain is now working in a concept, in a learning, in an activity at a much higher, your brain has gone at a higher level. Now these levels are never achieved in formal education systems in general classrooms. Get it? You never go and whatever you teach in school, you only target for your marks, right? To get through your examinations, for your 9As, for your 4As, whatever. Isn't it, children? You don't go to the extent of really doing it for yourselves, doing it, applying it. Nobody ever told you that. But the crux of the whole process is that you should be doing it yourselves, not for education, marks. It hasn't got to be examination oriented. It's just that somewhere down the line, some inputting went wrong drastically and dramatically, and now we are paying for it, right? So this is this analysis, trying to look at doing the same thing. Again, we are still doing the kospatta gate, right? But at some point, you will realize, okay, it's not only the kospatta gate, There are many other getters, and the best getter may be something else, and you will discover a new getter. Right? So that's that discovery part. Yes, critical thinking part. Right? You no longer have to depend upon people coming to teach you kospatta getter. Yeah, so this is just an exaggerated example that I'm taking, right? This is in real life what you do. If you can make kids understand, do work on their own, that part is more self-oriented. Yes, you're making your brains work much harder. Kids doing it, you could do even with the little ones. They are the best researchers. Okay, because we've been erased down the line for 20 years and we are trying to now gauge things. But children, they are untouched, and the way their brains process are the play. Researchers now say play is the best method to, this is scientific, best pure version of research is happening there through play. Right? And it's not us, it's very difficult for we adults to understand that perspective. Right? So the key is to understand this and do it yourselves. Right? Now my final activity is, Zainab, do I have time? So we'll be given 10 minutes each for your group activity. Right. Shoan, am I right? Did I pronounce it right?
Yes, you got it right. Yes.
Okay. Right. So yeah, you can leave at 11:30, no harm, right? So, but be in with the team. Basically, I'm done. Right now, it's your turn. I want to assess if you all were able to grasp this whole thing. Right. So, what I'm going to do is, I know you all do 3 main lectures for children. Yes, one on pollution, deforestation, and climate change. Am I right?
Yeah, and we introduced the biodiversity of Sri Lanka.
Yes.
So it's part of what the initial awareness program.
Right. Okay, fine. So now, after listening to what I said all this time, maybe 1.5 hours, I don't remember when did we start at 10, I suppose. Okay. So throughout this process, we were doing things, trying to understand, whatever you learned differently. Yes, I want you to apply them, right? And the same things that you did earlier. Right? Take any topic you like, but let's take 2 topics. Yes, whichever, say group A can take 1 topic. Don't take the same thing. B, take a different topic, but one of the 4 that you've been already doing, so that you're comfortable in it. Okay. So one can play the group leader role. Yeah, you all nominate yourselves. Whoever wants to be the group leader, right, can lead the way. And at the end of the 10 minutes, you all will come up with a way, right, presenting children, right, the same things. Say, for example, climate change. How I want to see how you all are going to do it, right? What changes will you make? I've listened to your presentations before, right? So, what changes will you do to the existing version, right?
I feel like maybe to make it a bit more interactive, we could incorporate our own personal experiences, especially since given a majority of people within the community, within the committee have been to Wilpattu and everything. So real life experiences of the instances where deforestation have been seen, to make it more impactful.
Yeah. I suppose, yeah.
Should also add some videos to just kind of show them what we're referring to, because I think we take it for granted because we keep going to national parks, but not everyone has that opportunity. So I feel like even showing them something might spark curiosity.
And especially since even in the activity she did, we were able to follow better when it was a video and visuals, right? Rather than just instructions and her reading off the instructions. So learning off that, maybe incorporate some videos.
Even what you were saying, taking dried leaves. Once you put in your bottle, let's say you put a plastic bottle in there as well. Even simply asking them, would you eat a plastic bottle? Why would they feel
what we should
do is where after they realize that the plastics last longer, we should ask them, so what should we do with it? Should we throw it into the garbage, or should we keep and make a better use of it? And then we can kind of ask them what kind of uses we can give to plastic, because it stays like, it's durable. And then
we can
slowly introduce the plastic bricks.
Yeah, we can we can honestly get them more involved, like show them a plastic bottle and say ask them 10 different ways they can reuse it.
Yeah, that's right.
So that will get them thinking.
And the presentation is like an hour.
Yeah.
And there are two other presentations.
It will be an entire craft workshop.
When we actually do the session in school, we can ask the children to go out and collect some stuff there, and we can actually ask them to segregate, because I've seen people do this, like children do this wrong. This is an activity I've been doing for some of the schools that I've worked with previously. We think that we all know how to segregate basically like the organic stuff and the stuff that won't degrade, but they do it wrong. So
I agree with you. And the confusion sometimes is how can we, because after all what we are doing is it's not part of the formal curriculum. We want to make it exciting and it needs to be entertaining. And sometimes honestly, I think entertainment and documentaries and all make a lot more impact than sitting and studying a textbook. So how can we combine the two to get the message across?
What about the how we had that garden safari thing for kids? And I've been following Avij's TikTok recently, and I think videos like that are
He does TikTok? I didn't know he does TikTok.
Yeah, he does garden safaris on TikTok.
Yeah, he does garden safaris,
Yeah, I guess whichever order is fine. We just present it.
Just share
I guess we do 2 activities and I think that's it, because I don't think we can keep it.
So it's the breakdown material activity first, and then the burger example.
No, so actually no, you can start. Okay, anyway, there is the whole plastic pollution. Like, okay, there's a whole talk or whatever. So start with the wrapper, and then so then basically the entire talk is what happens to this wrapper, how multiple wrappers and all like affect the environment. Continue it from there.
Okay.
I think that's simple and easy also for kids.
Yeah. I hope the kids don't choke on plastic as long as that. So can the team leaders, group 1, present first, and then what changes you did to, and what suggestions you came up with? Yeah.
Adulanga?
All right. So what we were discussing was that all this time we've been using presentations, right? And we've not really engaged the audience much. So one suggestion was to use our own experiences, because we all come from these backgrounds where we go to a lot of national parks that might not be the same for our audience, and to kind of relate our stories and tell them how we have seen change. That was one suggestion. I think another was to kind of show them our backyards or gardens and kind of show the difference in that sense. And then we had using their backgrounds, because especially when we do these virtual sessions where these kids have different backgrounds, and to kind of tell the story behind it, because they tend to pick them themselves and there's usually a story behind it, and to engage them that way. Then we had another suggestion of bringing their favorite soft toy along and telling us how deforestation is affecting that particular animal. Anything else I missed, guys?
I also mentioned game we used to play actually in the past, and we used to do physical sessions where we would bring a bunch of children up onto the stage and then ask them to hold their breath like forever, and then they would start making all these funny faces, and then slowly they would be suffocating, so they would be just dropped out. We have a winner at the end and whatnot. But the message that would come out of that was that if you keep cutting down all the trees, you're all going to start suffocating, and this is why you shouldn't be doing that.
We also had that Mentimeter idea as well, that kind of encourages anonymous responses. So some may not be quite confident to talk on their own. So maybe we can send a Mentimeter link and they could add their own responses and we can share it on screen.
Wonderful.
Also the virtual backgrounds.
Yeah.
Right. Dinara had this great idea that we ask people to prepare virtual backgrounds, and that could be a way for them to tell and share something and tell a story behind what's behind them. Right now I have a pangolin, but people can create stuff.
They have some bizarre stuff sometimes during the presentation, so we could open it up towards the end and ask them to share the screen and speak about it. And also it would make a nice picture, so we could put it on our social media to show something like that sort.
So that's awesome. Right. So you did see some practical changes that need to be done. I mean, you yourselves identified them, yeah? So my goal was to get you identify your problems rather than me pointing them out, yeah? Saying do this, do that is not going to work, yeah? I felt it would be better for you to identify them, and because you're the ones who will be doing it, yes? Firsthand. So I'm glad you all were able to find these and then try to mend it somehow, yeah? Yes? And is that all? Shall we move to group 2? Yeah?
Okay, guys, who wants to present our ideas? Anyone? Chantal, Mati, Mustafa?
Kitmi, you can go ahead.
Okay, all right. So we just came up with a couple of ideas and activities to present to them the dangers of plastic pollution. So one of the activities were for them to kind of bring certain plastics that they use in their daily life to the classroom. Maybe like a toothbrush, a plastic bottle, like a pen or something like that, and stuff like that. And try to analyze how easily they can destroy them, right? So maybe put it in hot water, put it in cold water, just bury it in the soil and see if you can destroy it. Right? Try to break it, and then try to take some things like paper, leaves, twigs and things, and see how easily they can break those things. And then they kind of realize on their own that plastics are quite hard to destroy. And after that, we thought of telling them a little story. So the story is about going and having one of their favorite meals. We'll say burgers. So you go out and have some burgers, and then the burger shop gives you a packet, like a sachet packet, a plastic sachet packet of ketchup. And then we ask them, how do you eat this? So they would say they break the ketchup packet, put the ketchup in the burger, and they eat it. And we're like, why don't you eat the ketchup packet, right? They'll be like, we can't eat it. And we're like, are you sure you can't eat it? And they'll be like, yeah, we're pretty sure we can't eat it. Then we're gonna ask them, what's going to happen to this ketchup packet? And then they're gonna say, not really sure, it might be thrown in the garbage or something. They're not really sure. So we're gonna say, you're smart, you know not to eat this ketchup packet, but the animals out there might not know whether to eat this or not, right? So they might eat this accidentally, and what do you think will happen to the animals? And they're gonna say, they're probably not something good. So after that, we're gonna say, they're going to realize on their own how bad plastic is to us as well as the animals around us. And then we're going to show a short video clip where we compare an environment with garbage plastic and an environment without it, and ask them what they feel about these two environments. And then they're going to definitely describe the two, and they're obviously going to like the one without plastic. So after that, we're going to show them a plastic bottle or something. Ask them, so without throwing them, these plastics, can you think of some innovative ways to use this instead of throwing them away? Like upcycling it, making eco breaks, or they're going to come up with ideas of that, hopefully. That was our lesson. Anything to add, guys?
No, I think that was it.
Yeah,
maybe even to just see how much plastic pollution is collected in their household every week.
Yeah, they can actually do a little plastic footprint at their own houses and try to influence their parents to reduce plastic.
Yeah. And also incorporate like a video in the middle of the presentation.
Right, I was listening to it throughout. Right, and
incorporate like a video, like different media, so that they have like more ways to understand the concept.
Yeah, so I think what we learned from today was that just by only speaking about it doesn't get the message across. So sometimes maybe even a video or an activity is always better to understand.
You could always do the choking exercise that you did in a physical class. You could get it done. Yeah. And the one is that all?
Yeah,
that's so beautifully done. I'm really glad that you all were able to identify the changes that you have to do. Right. One aspect as a mother, and as raising 3 kids, once you do become parents, you all will realize this, if you can identify that a best time, children wind off, they shut themselves down at the times that you all generally do. I know teachers, the schools, the education system doesn't understand this, right? I know you all are given these time slots, but if you could just talk to the heads and then perhaps shift it to a weekend or somehow, because it's in vain, children are going to sit in front of a computer, at that time they're falling asleep, they're biologically shutting off, right? So try to think of the timings, all right, and not have extended time sessions. Yes, because on an average, to make them sit on something of this aspect, if it's engaging, they will. Don't extend it for a long time. I want to wind off soon because I've been engaging you all for a long time here as well, right? So don't have it for an extended period. Try to have tiny slots, but maybe repeat it once a week or something of a strategy, and have smaller groups, right? Not more than 20. Don't, because it's not going to be, and try to get the videos switched on, because ethically speaking, people think, okay, fine, because we have the option of switching the camera off, it's not right. Just make them understand it's as if a guest comes to your house and you're slamming the door shut, right? So get these kids, because it's important that we socialize, see our faces, and interact as much as we can, even online. Yes. So those are a few aspects that I was thinking of suggesting. But I heard a group talking about the timings. Was it Kidneys? I think. Y'all were talking about times as well, no?
We probably said we're running out of time now.
Right. Okay. So that was the time that I barged in bed. Okay. Just 3 minutes. Just show it to the little ones. That's all you require. Save all the words. They come up with the solutions themselves. Little ones, they make robots, right? You just let them and they begin to change their attitudes, right? When I played that clip to my 6 to 8 year old group, the next day mom calls me to say, what the hell did you teach my kids yesterday? And I say, what happened? So she started praying all of a sudden to all the creatures in the seas. She wanted people to change. She was in tears. And then I said, I'm highly moved. I didn't expect a 6-year-old to grasp the concept behind that. Get it? So you need not, they have their emotions. They pop up with, genuine stuff, right? So we have to give space to their thoughts at the same time. Just a single click, maybe 2 minutes, 3 minutes will ignite their passion. So there's one trash in a jar, just watch it. It's a young child changing her attitudes, putting all her trash in just a tiny jar. 4 years of garbage. So you have to change our attitudes for refusal and changing our own. So those are things that kids do. They will influence the adults. Say, Amma, don't do this, And then replacing with a cloth bag. I made a cloth bag with a throwable t-shirt, which they can use instead, They can decorate it, then reuse it, and things like that. So there's plenty on the net, So it's up to you to make a very engaging one. So I just plugged in a few changes that you all would want to make, right? So I'm done. I'm going to shut myself. Thanks for listening to all this and trying to make a change, right? Okay. Zainab, over to you.
Thank you so much, Nethu, for such a wonderful session. I think we have all learned so much, and it's made me think as well in terms of how we can improve that presentation. I think as a next step, we need to do some brainstorming internally and restructure that entire presentation and the way we deliver it. So maybe once we do that internally, we can also come and pitch this to you and get your input and refine it so we can give the best product to the children out there.
Anytime.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Honestly, it has been such a pleasure to have you. Before we let you leave, I would like to take one picture, and if it's okay, can we post about this session on social media and give you a shout out as well?
Please, there will be a video clip, because this is the first time I'm doing to a youth group. Teachers, trust me, they're not this engaging, right? They don't even take the time to switch on the cameras. And to see such an engaging community was, wow, I enjoyed myself. I didn't realize I've been speaking for the past 2 hours. Thank you. It was engaging for me too, right? So yes, go ahead, Zainab.
Yeah, I myself have thoroughly enjoyed it, and I can see everyone has, because everyone has all these big smiles on their faces. And I think, as you would have realized, you're all from different walks of life. We're doing all different careers. No one's, so I think it's just passion that unites us all here. A passion for a better tomorrow, as our tagline goes. So thank you. And if anyone else from the committee have any other words they want to share, please feel free to say anything.
I think just something small. The biggest learning for me in the past 2 hours is how important the process is, and it's not exactly what the message is, but how you deliver it matters equally. So I guess that is something that we often overlook, and we don't pay that much attention to the process, but we are always like fixated on what we are going to deliver, and so we need to sort of change our thinking as well and give equal importance to how we deliver. So and thank you so much for that.
Yeah, I echo that as well, because when you were reading out the instructions, I was just thinking of myself, like talking to the kids, and they probably like they probably could have mistaken whatever I was saying. So it's always good to speak about it, but also have visuals as well that gets the message across better.
Thanks.
Yeah. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Yeah, and also I'm thinking, I understood that it's really important for us to know which age group we are working with, because sometimes we just invite all of the kids to join with our sessions, but it's very important if we know the age group, so we know who we're dealing with and how to speak to them literally. And it was amazing just to see that that we can use a lot of modes of presentations actually to give out the message. So thank you so much, Nethu. It was really amazing.
Thank you so much once again. Really appreciated the amount of time you have put in to spend 2 hours of your Saturday morning with us. So thank you so much. It's really appreciated, and it's been really wonderful to have you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.
See you guys. Bye-bye.
Take care. Stay safe, everyone.